Hello everyone. Um, this one is continuing of the previous video where I compare my VF8 with the other ICE car at home, the other three gas car at home, because I didn't have access to EV cars. I received some feedback saying this is not a very fair comparison because comparing EV and a gas car is just like comparing orange to apple. In this video, I call part 2. I compare my VF8 again with my Lexus, and the other two EV car, which are the Tesla Model Y and Tesla Model S. Those Tesla are from my friends. I asked my friend to drive it for me, and for Model Y, because of the um, condition at hand, I cannot repeat the same route. I asked my friend to do a similar route to the other route that I used to test other cars. For the Model 3, I asked another friend to do the test drive for me on the same route with the other car. And just like the other video, I like to do this one in two languages, in Vietnamese and in English, so that I can help more audience. Going back to the reason why I'm doing this video series, recently there's been some bad reviews on VF8 from the car journalists. The main complaints about the car are the noise and the shaking of the car. As a VF8 owner for 2 months, I don't see this one. These claims are true. I don't see the car vibrate too much or too noisy, and that's why I'm doing this video to compare the car with other car to see if those claims are true. Using the same method from before, I use an app from my iPhone to measure the noise level and the acceleration of the car. Acceleration in terms of g-force in x, y, and z axis. The x-axis acceleration is the forward acceleration. The y g-force y is the swaying or the shaking left to right from the car, and the z force in z direction is the bouncing of the car. There are also some feedback about the methodology that I'm using to do this comparison. Some people complain why I use the app, which is very cheap, to collect data. For me, I think if you do the same thing for all the cars, you will have a fair comparison anyway. The purpose of this experiment is not to collect the absolute accurate data, but just to compare the data from the cars. So I would think that if you use the same method, use the same tool for all the cars, you would have a very good comparison picture among the cars. In this video, I'm comparing my VF8 with Lexus SUV RX350 2018 and two Tesla Model Y and Model 3, both are 2021 model. The owner of the Model Y cars already added the sound, the noise seal around the door. And the owner of the Model 3 already replaced the tire to reduce the noise. To be fair, it's not a good comparison among the car with the car, those cars already modified, but that's fine. I'm using the original VF8 without any modification on noise and on the vibration. And here's the first plot from G4X, which is the acceleration in the forward direction. You can see here on the plot, the four car data are very comparable. The acceleration in X direction are very much the same to me, except the Model 3 has a little bit higher acceleration, which indicates either the car accelerate faster or the driving style of the driver. He always like step on the gas to accelerate accelerate the car. But anyway, overall, the X acceleration in four cars are about compatible, about the same to me. The second plot is for the acceleration in the y direction, called G for y. To me, all the data are about the same. The acceleration in y direction tell you the swaying of the car. It is shaken from left to right. And one of the complaints from the bad reviewer about VF8 is VF8 swayed a lot. I don't see it here from this data. The two Tesla Model Y and Model 3 at times they sway even more than the VF8 and the Lexus. The yellow line and the purple line are for the Model Y and Model 3. You can see here as time it swayed even more. It have even higher value than the rest of the car. The third plot here is for the acceleration in the Z axis, called G for Z. The acceleration in the Z direction indicates the bobbing or the bouncing of the car. Some bad reviewers say this car, VF8 car, bounce a lot or bobbing. From this data here, I don't see it. I don't see that the case. The bouncing of the VF8 is about the same with the other car. Talking about the car that have the most bouncing, I can tell the Model 3 is the one that have the most bouncing, because the mean and the max value of the acceleration in the Z direction from Model 3 are the highest. And here the plot of all the G-force of all four cars put together for you to make the comparison better in terms of the X and the Y and the Z directions. Again, from just like from the previous chart, this chart shows the acceleration in X, Y, Z direction of four cars are about the same. There are no outstanding among the cars. And here is the statistic data from the four cars put together. In here, I collect the mean value, the max value, the average value, and the standard deviation of the acceleration in X, Y, Z direction. For the four cars here, the first table is for the G4X. From this one, you can see the Model 3 is the one that has the average, the highest average acceleration in X direction. This one is compatible to the previous plot, the plot that I showed earlier, where Model 3 accelerate more than the other model. That could be due to the fact that Model 3 is the one that has the least weight among the car, and also it could be due to the fact that the driver who drive the car, he has the habit of driving fast. He step on the gas a lot more than other car. That's why the Model 3 accelerate most among the car. The second table here for the G4Y. Again, G4Y is the measure of the swaying. And surprisingly, the VF8 is the one who has the minimum average value among the cars. That means the VF8 is the one that sway the least among the cars. It sway even less than the Lexus. This is not again, this is not what the reviewer say. The reviewer said the car sway a lot. The VF8 sway a lot. It doesn't show here from the data. And the second table is for the G4Z. G4Z is the bouncing, the measurement of the bouncing of the car. From this one, look at the mean, the max, and the average value. They about the same, but look at the standard deviation. The VF8 and the Model Y has the least standard deviation value. What does it mean? It means that the Model Y and VF8 are the one that more steady than the other one. The variation of the G4Z is the least among the car. Yeah, that indicates the car are more steady. This one is understandable because the VF8 and the Model Y are considered the two heaviest car among the four. Yeah, and the heavier the car, the smoother that you can feel because of the weight. The weight can damn a lot of bouncing motion. And this chart here is for the noise level of the car, for cars here. From this data here, you can see that the noise level of the VF8 and Tesla Model Y and Model 3, they are very comparable. Yeah, and in general, the EV car are quieter than the ICE car. This one is understandable because when the car stops, you don't hear much noise as the ICE car. ICE car, the engine noise always on. As from the data here, you can see from some like dipping in the data for the EV car. Those dipping here in the data indicates at the time you stop the car for turning or for stopping sign. At those moments, there's no noise, almost like the noise very little from the motor. Yeah, so anyway, the talking about the noise, VF8 is not noisier than the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y. And here are the statistic data of the noise, the mean, the max, the average, and the standard deviation from our forecast here. From this, you can learn that for the max level of the maximum level of the noise, VinFast is less noisier than the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y. The max value of the VF8 is about like 88 decibel, whereas the one for the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y are 95 and 100 decibel. That about that for the max value. However, for the mean value, for the average value, the Model Y and Model 3 have less level of noise than the VF8, a little bit less level of noise than the VF8. So it's quieter than the VF8. But again, the owner of Model 3 and Model Y, they did some modification on their car to reduce the noise. For the Model 3, the owner has replaced the four tire that reduce the noise of the car. The tire that of the kind that can reduce the noise. And for the Model Y, the owner has placed the noise seal around the door to reduce the noise. So with that modifications, the comparison is not that accurate, but I think that's okay. The average value here, 69 versus 68 and 65, I think they are about the same ballpark for me anyway. But However, yeah, in general, the EV car are quieter than the gas car for sure. With this, I conclude my experiment to compare my VF8 with other three cars, including the two Tesla Model 3 and Model Y. From the data that I collected, analyzed, I don't see VF8 is noisier or shaking more than the other cars. And in some area, VF8 even perform better. The reviewer out there, I can see they are biased, and sometimes they are totally untrue. Data never lie. I hope you can see the data here and analysis here and make your own decision. Just don't based on your decision on the review out there, because they may have their own objectivity and their own agenda. Thank you very much for watching this video, and have a good day.